Well, the fourth step, which I think is actually one of the most important steps, is you have to learn from your experience and experiments. Think about all the people you know who have failed, but they never get any smarter. So you have to do the after-action review where you bring everybody together, and you're doing this for a few reasons. One, you're trying to gain real information. So it's not theoretical information, it's really what works and what doesn't work, and most importantly, why? Why doesn't it work? So the object is, if it's not working, instead of trying to fix it, move on and build on what is. Ride what moves. The second is you have to make adjustments. I love football, I love Michigan football, and I love the idea of there's a halftime, and you take all your players and you go back to the locker room and you say, okay guys, what do we need to do more of? What do we need to do less of? What do we need to start? What do we need to stop? What do we need to continue doing? And then the final part is you want to get smarter. What kind of simple rules can you divine from this so that the next time you start with high quality targets, you make a full lap. The next time you do it, you now have additional ideas about what actually works in your organization. So now we go back to the top of the model and we adjust our target. So the object is the first pass is always the hardest one. The second pass gets a lot easier, and by the time you're on your third pass, it's a cakewalk. I would anticipate that the DSO is going to learn that it's much harder to make a global market than it is to make a local market. I think the other thing is that having great music and being a great distributor of music is a very different thing. So I think one of the things they're going to learn is that trying to do this themselves, trying to sell it themselves, might not be the best of all strategies. The first question is, who are you apprenticing yourself to? Who is it that you can learn how to do this from? I'm a middle-aged man and I still am apprenticing myself to people. And the second question is, if you want this to be sustainable, who are you apprenticing? Remember, the DSO is a world-class orchestra and making world-class music. So the idea of them expanding into a product development and distribution company might be a little bit of a far reach for them. And if it is, then the next step is, who do we partner with so that they can be great at what they're great at and we can be great at what we're great at. I think the DSO developed a self-confidence to see how far they could go in a single day. I mean, this was just one day. It wasn't even a full day. And they covered an awful lot of ground.
This is just tremendous. I mean, no matter how these various ideas go forward or don't go forward and which one rises to the top, these ideas are permeating our brains, the three of us, and I know that in different ways they're going to make their way back into the conversations.
If you start looking at innovation in terms of these cycles, the pressure is off. And you realize that you have the capability currently to actually take that first step.
And so thank you again for everything you're doing for our institution.
Can we give a round of applause to the DSO for being great participants? When people come to the Innovatrium, whether we're trying to make a miracle drug or some kind of thing that's going to fly for 50 years or try and help the DSO make a solution, putting all the parts together is always new. And what it really creates for people is this kind of thirst to do it more often. I get that all the time after Jumpstart. How do I do this more? How do I take it back to my company? How do I do it with my family? Right? Okay, you're going to have your own way. You develop your own way of doing this. But the point is, once you start being creative on a regular basis, you're going to want more and more and more. And that's part of the momentum that carries you forward.